I had some difficulties. I had to restart a new video. So I hope you guys are able to, since I just had to restart a new video. Hi everybody. Okay, let's hope that my camera cooperates with me and I don't get cut off again. We're going to get right into it. So we've got our KB rotating loom. If you do not have this loom, pretty much any double-sided long loom will work. I'll show you a close-up of what we are making. Really, the main difference is going to be if you use a loom that has less than 58 pegs on both sides, it won't be as wide. Your gauging may be different too, depending on how close together the pegs are. But for the most part, if you don't have this loom, don't have that stop you from making this project, because this is a lovely project. I really enjoyed doing this. The PDF is a free printout. My printer didn't print out this stuff right here. As you can see, the PDF does have a visual there. Everything is wrote out. And as well, it's just a 2-pager. But there's a direct video link, and if you're having trouble and you have it printed, you can actually hit the QR code, and that goes directly to the video itself. Before you cast on, I'll show you my supplies here. I've got my loom. I got my yarn, which I'm using the Cozy Wool. It's very, very thick yarn. I want to say this is a 5 or a 6. Let me see what it says. It's very thick. I have to be overlooking it. I think it's a 5. But it's very, very thick yarn. I like the woolies. It has just, I want to say 20% wool in it. It's just a little bit of wool, but it really does help with your warmth. And the collar I got is spearmint, if you like that collar. The tube that you see here, all that is, I went to the dollar store, actually Dollar General. I got box tape and paper straws. Paper straws were $1. The reason I put the box tape, as you can see it's shiny, I put the box tape around the straw, then used a crochet hook to get the string through. The tape is to make this a little sturdier, and just the moisture from your hand, since it is a paper straw, that can affect it. You want to make sure you have a piece of scrap yarn, just a contrasting color, and your loom tool. And I have a pair of scissors here. Yay! Now the exciting part, everybody. What you want to do, take your yarn and make a slip knot. This is called a tensioner or a yarn guide. If you are using one, go ahead and put that on. It's easier to do at the beginning instead of adding it in later. But I did make a little slip knot, and I'm putting this slip knot on a peg before these arrows I used to mark the beginning of each row. Here we go. The stitch we are doing is so nice. It is a figure 8. I'm sorry. It is a modified figure 8 stitch, whereas your regular figure 8, you go like this. This one, you're wrapping 2 pegs. That's one reason why gauging really isn't a big issue with this pattern. Most of your long looms that you get from the store, the gauging is about perfect for this type of project. There are some companies that do have some smaller gauge long looms as well. I'm just going to wrap this. I'm going to try to wrap this kind of slow while I'm talking here. Because essentially right here is the entire project. Once you get this stitch down, and you can see with the paper straw, I can squeeze that so that it fits between the pegs easier. Now, I have had people ask me what gauge this loom is, and I don't know what to tell you guys. If you look, the inside loom, the pegs are closer together than this outside loom. As far as double knitting, I am not sure the best way to calculate the gauge for this. Okay. Now, I said this loom, 60 pegs all the way around. You can take and work to your very last one. I prefer to leave a couple in between. That's the only reason, is so I don't start going in a circle. I'm bad at that. And I have done some videos on how to correct it if you connect a flat panel pattern using a circular loom. But I'm telling you guys, this is one of those ounce of prevention moments. This is the first row of your cast on. I'm not seeing any questions yet, but you guys have questions, just throw them in there and I will answer them as soon as I can. This is a piece of scrap yarn. Texture, style, type of yarn, color, none of that matters. All you're doing is separating this very first row. And I'll take my loom tool and pull that down. And I'll come over this side and pull that down. This is just some random yarn I had laying around. And I'm just going to take these ends and just go ahead and tie a knot. I made my string really, really long, so I'm actually going to cut this just so that is out of the way. Wow, these scissors are dull. So you can see. Now for our next row. Every row you are going to be wrapping the exact same. So right here, where this is the last peg we're on, we're actually going straight across and wrapping. Oops. And then you can see how the line goes back. From the view here, you can see that your current row is going to completely mimic the row before it. I didn't unknot my yarn when I got the center pull out. So I will go ahead and wrap back to the beginning. I've been having some technical difficulties, so there's going to be some background noise and movement. See, now that I'm back to the other one, I'm ending here. Every peg that has stitches, there's going to be 2 empty on the front, well, 2 empty on the front and 2 empty on the back. This right here is where the yarn's coming from. I don't want that to come loose, so I will hold this string and go ahead and knit off, which that's taking that bottom loop over the top. Why do I have the string in the middle of the loom? Okay, Deb, the string in the middle of the loom here, that is only to mark off my first row. Later, we'll be taking a crochet hook at the very end of the project, and actually, I will show you. At the end of the project, we'll take a crochet hook, and we will actually grab those first stitches and crochet the chain so that you have a nice, even edge. See? And if you look, you're going to have this peg right here was the last peg you wrapped of your first row. Well, these two. These are going to be empty. The first of every row will not have a second stitch. Now, I'm going to try to hold this up some and just show you guys. So you take these bottom loops off. And you go all the way around the loom. It really does not matter where you start with taking these stitches off, whether you do the inside loom or the outside loom first. That honestly does not matter. If you are starting in a spot that's not the beginning or the end of a flat panel, the only advice I have is do not start and stop at the exact same spot every time, or else you will get what is called laddering. A lot of people have this issue when it comes to knitting hats in the round, especially if you are doing a stitch like your E-wrap stitch, where people want to, it's easy, you wrap the entire row, then you knit off. But if you are starting and stopping in that same spot, it creates a difference in the tension right there. Luckily, with a project like this, that's very, very little risk of that happening. But yes, we are finishing up the cast on. See, I'm just jumping all over the place. Let me look here. Take these bottom loops off, and if you want, you can actually push it down as you take them off. The main thing is you just want to make sure you knit off every peg, which if you are new in the video, knit off means take that bottom loop over the top. And this stitch is called, it's a modified figure 8 stitch. The only difference is you are wrapping 2 pegs instead of 1, and that is giving a chunkier result. See, I'm pushing these down, and see how here this is kind of stuck on that peg. You want to make sure to double check and make sure every peg, those stitches are down. Yep. Okay, that's your cast on row. From here, you're actually doing the same stitch. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. That was that slip knot I put at the very beginning. I'm going to take that off and leave that down. It's not going to come unraveled or anything. That we'll deal with at the end. But the main things to remember when you start your row, you find where's the yarn coming from. The yarn, this row is coming from back here, actually from this peg if you want to be specific. So you go straight across. We don't re-wrap this. The pegs the yarn is coming from, the beginning of each row, you do not re-wrap those. So you're going to go down there and wrap. And we are following that exact design. Let me put this paper, sit this over here in the background. Maybe that, I don't know how well you guys can see the image, but the printable PDF does have this drawn out for you. As you can see, like I said, it's modified. You're just wrapping 2 pegs instead of 1 for your normal figure 8 stitch. So what type of yarn has everybody chose for their project and what loom are you using. Make sure to tag me in any posts that you put with your project. I really like this spearmint collar. I saw it in the clearance bin and I almost passed it up. Almost. I'm glad I didn't. The yarn's just catching everything. All right, I'm over to the second end. Wrap. See? The last peg. That I'm going to knit off. The yarn's locked. Now let me check. I saw some questions. What did I miss? Isn't that loom compatible with worsted weight? Yes, it is. This loom is compatible. It's actually compatible with a lot. If you notice, I was mentioning this earlier, this inner loom, the pegs are closer together than the outer loom. When it comes to double knitting, I have not had any issue with that at all. I'm waiting on my 60 peg loom topper to arrive. Oops, it went away. And I did have Lion Brand Thick and Quick and Tossed Marshmallow, but Tossed Marshmallow. That's a cream, I believe. But so sorry, I got off my topic. Crafting enthusiast. I know this loom is awesome. It's really neat, and I've used worsted weight. I want to say a number 3 is really the thinnest that I have used on this loom, and it would have been this inner loom. But you can use everything from your worsted weight to your bulky to your super bulky, just depending on the stitch you want to use. I like the fact that, as you guys can see, I'm just standing in one location, just spinning this. That makes a big difference. Ooh, so what color was that yarn? Ooh, so it's a black and brown yarn. That sounds pretty. Okay. Yes, you guys, at this point, this stitch right here, you do until your project is as long as you want it to be. I use 3 of these. I know this is only 20 minutes into it. I am going to stay on here longer and I'm just going to keep working. You guys have questions, just keep throwing them out there. I will pause and help and answer to the best of my ability. And if you noticed, I'm kind of putting my fingers over the middle here. That ensures that I know I don't pop any stitches off. And of course, I don't have the tool here. KB Looms actually has a tool that's a double end. If you have that tool, that would actually be perfect for this project, probably. The tool is made to pick the stitches off of 2 pegs at one time. And the set comes with 2 different tools, where one is better, one fits this loom, one fits this loom. But I want to say it's the orange one I used that I liked. I was actually able to bend it just a little bit to where it works for both. That way I'm not switching my tool out or anything. Now you're going to notice, everybody who looms knit, I'm sure you guys have seen this. When you first start a project, your first, 5, 6 rows, they seem to take you forever. But as soon as you see the project coming out from the bottom of the loom, it's like time just fast forwards and you just go get it done so fast after that. I've got the row knitted off. So push this down, and I saw there was some questions, comments. Let me see what we got here. Oh, yay! So you got so you got it when you, the first time I showed it a while back. Awesome. Oh, someone was asking about the string to mark off the first row. Another advantage to this string is I know I've done this and gotten some really nasty little loops on my projects. Like, you get excited, you want to see it, so you're trying to pull it down to see what it looks like. Do not do that. Do 4 or 5 rows at least, and then you can use this to help pull that down. See, because right now, until it gets pulled down, it's going to look a little bunched in there. That is only temporary for your first few rows. Again, we're going back the opposite direction. So my yarn is on these 2 pegs. I'm going straight across and wrapping. A lot of your double knitting, you're going to notice that your cast on is 2 rows of the stitch for the body of the project. And then cast off, actually, for a lot of your double knit stuff, it's the same concept. For the most part, what you do is you remove the pegs from one side of the loom, place on the other, and then treat those stitches as one and pick the bind off that you choose, whatever your favorite is. Another plus, I'm thinking about this right now because I'm not hearing it. I have used, this is a hard plastic straw. It's super cute. I've used hard plastic items, pin tubes, things like that for my tensioners. Pro to the paper here. You hear this? It's not super loud. Imagine laying in bed. Oh, you can catch this. Give you guys a quick little visual. Imagine you're laying in bed at night watching your favorite show and you want to do some knitting. This is what everybody's going to hear. When you wrap the pegs, it frustrates me because it's like constant clicking when you're wrapping the pegs. Paper? A little bit, but it's not bad. I know that was a funny visual, but that was one of the simplest things because there are some really cool tensioners you can use. And some looms I'm okay with it, but with this loom, I get knitting so fast on it because I can spin it that clicking noise from this, it drives me a little batty. Haha, show you something I accidentally did. Now, when you're knitting over, watch, I'll just show you. Okay, camera, focus. See this loop right here? I accidentally just grabbed that and pulled up. That's just one of these little cast-on loops. See how that happens? What happened was I went like this to pick up the stitch and I caught something behind it and tried to pull both up at the same time. And with wool, I will warn you guys, even though this is only, I want to say, 20% wool blend, wool likes to felt and stick to itself. I'm just going to stick that there. It likes to felt, it likes to stick to itself. So that's something to kind of be prepared for. If I have wool yarn, I do not keep it in a bag that will hold it real tight while I'm using it, just to keep the friction down. Actually, it would be, I need to do a video about yarn and the differences between different types of yarn because it's actually really cool. I know, different topic, different day. See, and now as I'm doing this, I'm going to push this down. And when I'm done with this live video, I will put all of the direct links for the resources in the video description. I will be doing a follow-up class. My initial plan was next Sunday. I'll put more information out. Everybody may want a couple weeks to get the project done before I do a follow-up class that's just a live video to show you how to do your cast off and how to do the fringe and how to crochet that cast on edge. Yay, look, I did another row and it's starting to come down. See where I tried to pull on that one? But now I'm pulling on this. It's pulling all of it down. So now I'm pulling it by where the string is. See how nice that edge is? Okay, and now I've just got this. Okay, no I didn't. I thought I just twisted this all up in there. Let me see if this is small enough to do. Let's see. Go ahead and wrap another row for you guys. Okay, we got some questions. I haven't used my looms since the winter totem. Oh, you did the winter totem hat? Oh, yay! Oh, believe me, guys, I have missed. Things have been really crazy. Children, health, COVID, everything. I'm trying to get back, do more live videos. I like helping. I like doing the live Q&A type things. I did something recently through, I want to say it's called My Yarn Club. They have, it's an educational social media platform for fiber artists. I'm very lucky that I've got a really good, I've got a good following. You guys are pretty awesome, very understanding. And the whole looming community, a lot of designers, people may not realize this, but we talk to each other, we discuss things, we try to plan. If I'm doing a live event, I'll plan, make sure the rest of them know, when my event's going on, so that we don't plan on top of each other. Because you know what? There's enough talent, enough internet around for all of us. So I always encourage creativity. The only reason I'm holding this like this is so you guys can see a little better. I prefer the, of course I had to phrase it this way, I prefer the sit and spin philosophy. I really expected it to take a lot longer to get everything going because my live videos are always at least an hour. It looks like this one, we're going to be going maybe about a half hour because you guys already know everything you need to know to get to your cast off. The PDF, let me see how long. Oh, that paper doesn't have the actual length. The dimensions are 65 by 18. 65 inches by 18 inches for the one I made. Go ahead and do these inside ones. Guys, this is really it until our next video. Are there any questions you guys have before I get off here? Because I do want to make sure I answer any questions that you guys have at this point. But really, you're doing that same stitch. You just follow the pattern that's there. If you drop a stitch with the rotating looms, with your double knit looms, dropping a stitch is a lot harder to fix than in your regular flat knitting or circular knitting. So that one is kind of those Hail Mary things. You just grab the stitch as fast as you can and put it back on the loom and pray everything's okay. Push that down. And see, now I have enough of this down to where if the stitches are bunched, see how they're bunched right there? I have enough of this down to where I can pull it and I can see my actual design, the way the stitches are wrapped. Yeah, I could see that a lot easier. So what'd that take me, guys? I think 3 rows, 4 rows to get it down here. Just a few rows, that's a lot of progress. It works up very, very fast. All right, I'm just going to look real quick. I don't think I saw any more questions come in. I have that loom, just not the topper that you're using. I have the one that comes with it. Yes, you can actually use, you can use any double knit loom, any long loom. You can use the original topper. I wanted a very wide shawl. I've actually made 2 of these. See how wide that is? That's because I'm using this topper. It just won't be as wide if you use the other topper. That's the only difference. I made 2 of these because I'm going to sew, well, I made 2 of the exact same ones. This is actually going to be my third. But the 2 this color, I'm going to sew halfway down the middle and then leave the rest of it open, and it makes what's called a ruana. I probably pronounced that wrong, guys. It's essentially a blanket shawl. They're so comfortable. Guys, this is what I got for this one. Just keep going. Make sure you have questions, get a hold of me. My email is going to be in the video description and everything. So do not hesitate to contact me if you have questions or need any advice. Again, you do not have to use this loom. I'm a big fan of this loom. See, it's very simple. That's why I'm using it. And it's very nice to use for my videos. Because look, this is sitting right here. And it is so easy that you guys are able to see it. Is that 2 of the looms or 1? Sorry. Oh, don't you dare call yourself dumb. No. This loom right here, I'll actually grab the box and show you. When you purchase that loom, it comes in a box like this. Inside that box, I was showing someone earlier how to put it together. Inside that box, you have your dolly, and you have 6 of these. I already have 2 in. They just snap in. There really isn't an upside down or a right side up to these with these either. And then you either have now when you're putting your outer loom on, see where the arrow is? I just make sure my arrow matches up. I'm sorry guys, this one's dirty. So that's how it goes together. But you can purchase this topper that's larger. Yes, the small one and the wavy one. That's a good way to explain it. Which really, the only reason it's wavy like this and it's not in a circle is because they made it to where it will fit on the same dolly here. Or Lazy Susan. Lazy Susan, there we go. It'll fit on the same one. I'm actually really excited to see in the future what they do if they come out with more that are bigger. And this new one, this new topper, a difference with it, you're going to notice, see the slits in the pegs are on the front and the back of all the pegs on this one. And that is something that they changed, because on this one, it was only on the inside and only on this outside. This middle part, there's no slits on those. Because you can take this inner loom out and just knit on this outer loom. You can take the outer loom off and just knit on the inner one if you want. You do not have to use this as a double knit loom. All right, everyone, I'm going to get off here. It's time for me to start watching some Star Trek and do some knitting. I'll keep you guys updated with my progress. And please keep me updated with your progress. I want to see the yarn you're using, the loom you're using. I want us to have a lot of fun with this, guys. And I will be back either next Sunday or the Sunday after. I will keep you guys updated on social media. But I will do a secondary video to help with your cast off, finishing your crocheted edge. And if you guys want to learn how to do a mattress seam to hook multiple panels together, I will show you guys that as well. Thank you so much for watching and knitting along. I'm really excited to see everybody's work in progress. And wow, my camera's doing something crazy. Thank you guys.